very much for this informative discussion. We have raised very important questions, but they are very important questions, of course. It's really good that a person of your level is dealing with such questions, and we hope in future we will come up with some solutions. I'm just interested because my research is also dealing with almost the same question, if not same question. I just think that these are such big questions that they are difficult to, in fact, engage with cause and effect. Because the issue of scientific stagnation is not the issue of Muslim world. It was the issue with China, it was the issue in India, with Hindu religion, with other religions. So when we just focus it on from a very limited perspective, then my hunch is that we are not going to come up with right conclusions. So its context needs to be broadened. And secondly, I am intrigued, in fact, and I really want to know. Jewish people have very important contributions in social sciences and in natural sciences. We talk about Reformation in Islam because there was Reformation in Christianity. Was there any Reformation about in Judaism? So how you will relate with this? This is only one question which I have.
It's a big question. Let's take the Hindu civilization and the Chinese civilization as a starter. Well, you know, both of them had fundamental contributions in. Well, the Hindu contribution to mathematics is very significant. In fact, zero is a Hindu invention which was then taken over to the Middle East. But it's much more than that. Nevertheless, progress in Hindu mathematics was very limited. And yes, you had something. You had the Kerala school. You had you had progress in mathematics up to a point. You had some progress in science, but then again that was up to a point. It was essentially stymied by the rigid class structure of that society. That the knowledge could not be shared outside of Brahmins. And there's a lot of work that's been done to understand why the early achievements of Hindu science, Hindu mathematics particularly, essentially ground to a halt. About the Chinese, they say that it was the rigid bureaucracy. Wherever there is rigidity, whether that comes through because of caste and class structures or through a government bureaucracy, that limits the creative expression of individuals. The Jews have a very different history because they never had a state. They were always on the margins. They survived in the persecution of Christian societies. And because they had to live in the margins, they they saw their survival in things like in intellectual pursuits. And so today, when they have a state, well, they have a much greater ability to express themselves. But you see that Jews, because of their historical background, have made enormous contributions to mathematics, science, in its many dimensions. Of course, every society has a different history to it. There are different factors, different specific factors that have reduced its ability to progress in science. I'm not over here dealing with all of them. I was dealing with those specific things that have held back Muslims. And I believe that if those constraints can be loosened or eliminated, then the 1.5 billion people on this planet would get ahead much faster than they have.
I think they can't probably, because Jews were in a minority. And then you were in a minority, you have to struggle for survival. You have 1.5 billion Muslims. So there's really a struggle there, I think. That's the reason you've answered the question yourself. Why Muslims are backward in sciences and other intellectual pursuits.
Well, everybody is equally capable of science.
Yeah.
That is an assertion, but I believe that there is no evidence to the contrary. That our DNA, whether it's in a Jew or a Hindu or an Eskimo, doesn't matter. We're all equally capable of these mental operations. It's a question of what the social culture is and what opportunities then individuals have. So, yes.
I personally think, I'm struggling. I think, how are you going to reconcile science with faith? Well, there's some very fundamental differences. For example, when you think about religion thrives on unsolved mysteries, while science takes it as a challenge. Now, if you look at faith, sometimes, as you're just highlighting your discussion, it demands sometimes suspension of critical faculties. Okay? And scientists are always skeptical, you're always answering questions. In a religion, you arrive in believing because you're told to do so. While in science, you come to believe something because you discover so. So, do you understand? How are we going to really reconcile these things? Let's look at another example. In the Royal Society, Fellow of Royal Society, that's an indicator of the excellence in science. More than 80% fellows of the Royal Society, they don't believe in religion.
Look at it the other way. They're 20% who do. And yet they're very capable individuals. The reason they do is because...
Also, how do you, for example, how are you going to deal with issues like evolution, creation of universe in the context of religion?
Okay, now this is going to be a long debate, but a brief answer will be that science does not give you values. Science does not tell you the purpose of life. Science does not tell you your destiny. Science stops for you when you're dead. But religion, metaphysics, it wants to give you a purpose in life. It wants to tell you that all that